Hi, this is Christopher Lewis.
And Jamie Villamore.
And welcome to Dating Intelligence, the podcast, where we give relationship advice from dating to marriage and everything else in between. And always with the goal of helping you to continuously be the best you at all times. Hello, guys. We're at the beautiful Virgin Hotel at the Elia Beach Club with my co-host, Jamie Villamore.
Yes, it's
What's
a little
going on,
windy
girl?
here. I love you, Travis.
A little windy?
Thank you for taking care of us. Sticky paws
Travis, we
in
need
the house.
to put a windscreen right here to protect us. It's getting too windy and too loud. So guys, we have an amazing guest today. I mean, this dude has seen it and done it all. I mean, he travels the world. He's a multi-platinum award-winning musician who has played lead guitar for some of the biggest bands in the world, including Guns N' Roses and his current band 6 AM. Please welcome Ashba to the show.
Thank you.
What's up?
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, this is like a treat for us
I'm
here.
going to do my best to hear you over here with all the music going on.
I'm going to try to focus all my vocals this way so to make it actually happen. So you might not see much of my face on screen, but we'll continuously go this way.
Perfect.
I'm so super excited. Like, I feel like we have a big rock star in the house.
You know what? I'm like, I'm looking at him like I'm trying to keep my, like those guys when you see someone that's starting like, what's up, man? And I'm just trying to keep my coolness. I'm like, holy God, it's holy shit. That's how I feel right about now. So I'm not going to go there.
I appreciate
You're
that.
welcome. But no, you're like, dude, you're a legend, man, in my eyes.
you.
So we're happy to have you here.
What are you working on right now?
I am working on a brand new project. About 4 years ago, 4.5 years ago, I've been I love all genres of music, but one that's always intrigued me was EDM. And I just saw kind of a real opportunity if I could inject my world into that world as a producer, songwriter, and a guitarist. What would it sound like? What would come out the other end? And so it's more of an experiment than anything. I went in the studio and put all of my genres, influences in a blender, and just and what came out was really unique. And Universal signed it immediately, and it's just called Ashba. It's they're saying, not me, but Universal is like, you've created a new subgenre of EDM and we're gonna call it GDM, called guitar dance music.
Yeah.
So.
Wow, and where can we hear this?
Well, we have 3 videos out right now, 3 singles. Hypnotic, featuring Callie Tucker. And you can go to my Spotify, Ashba. And YouTube, it's Ashba Official. And we have videos. There's a song called Let's Dance featuring James Michael, my
that's a
singer
good one.
for 6 AM.
Yeah.
And we did a Christmas song, so.
What?
Yeah.
Is it out yet?
Yeah, it is. It came out last December, and I took like a collage. It's like a collage. I took 4 or 5 Christmas songs and combined them into one, and it's called A Christmas Storm. So,
Oh my God, that's
I
great.
love it. Have you heard? Have you heard any of the new
when
stuff?
we researched him,
Yes.
you as well, I pulled up all your videos. I was like, this is fucking awesome. And so I feel like, so I'm a big EDM person, and I love what you're doing, by the way, because I feel like, quite frankly, music is there's this open, endless range of just stuff. And like you combining EDM with what you're doing, it's just the next path for you. And I think it's brilliant, by the way.
Thank
So,
you.
yeah.
And then do you have a studio inside your house?
I do, yeah. I record all of the stuff for the most part that I'm involved in, whether I'm, over the past, like I co-produced Motley Crue out of my home studio.
Nice.
Neil Diamond out of my home
What?
studio, yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's
awesome.
incredible.
A lot of the 6 AM stuff is done between James Michael's studio. The bulk of it is done at his place, but I usually end up cutting a lot of my guitars out of my place.
So you guys just trade tracks, right? And just
Yeah,
build
yeah,
upon it.
exactly.
Okay.
Wow. Okay, so this is new stuff that I'm like learning. I'm
Yeah.
kind of impressed.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
So I know his beautiful wife.
Yes.
So that's kind of how we connected,
Yeah.
was through your wife Natty, who is also kind of getting involved. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, she just started her music career too, which
Oh,
is
is she
great.
doing that as
Yeah.
well? That's
She's
great.
singing Latin music, and it's really cool, and I'm super proud of her. And she dropped her first single, I can't even pronounce it because I can't speak Spanish, but it's dope.
I'm like, whatever she's saying, I'm in
just
love,
sounds
and it's
sexy.
so sexy.
That's all
Like,
that
you
matters.
just look
Anything
at her
in
and you're
Spanish
like-
sounds sexy
Yeah.
as fuck anyway.
I don't know what she's saying, but I like it a lot.
It's like hypnotic, you know, when you listen to like a girl singing in Spanish, like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm sold.
Yeah.
I don't know what she's saying. She could say my asshole is like fucking like your shirt said.
gosh.
I bleached my asshole for
Yeah,
this,
yeah.
and it sounds fucking sexy as hell, you know? So,
No,
all right,
we're just having fun, you know. 8 years of marriage on the 23rd of this month, and we're just having a good time, you know.
great.
Just
And how like incredible that now she's kind of getting into your world a little bit.
Yeah.
Is this something that she's always wanted to do, or do you think you had influence in that?
I don't know. I really haven't thought about it. I think it's just something she's finally going for. It's a passion. I think she's just finding her own, you know, finding herself. I wouldn't think I had anything to do with that.
Right.
I don't know. I haven't thought about that, but I'm proud of her. She's
Right.
you know, she's doing something she's really passionate about, and she's out there killing it. And
But that's why it's such a good match, though, because it's like, even though you said I don't know if I've had anything to do with it, but you're inspiring to her
Yeah.
to help her like explore her craft.
Yeah.
You know, that's the
Yeah.
beauty of it.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
And I feel like-
I don't look at myself that way. I just kind of do what I do, and it's weird when people like meet me. They almost have to remind me like you're that guy, because I don't look at myself like other people do. I just, you know, you're only as good as your last song. So once that's done, I'm on to focusing on the future of where I'm going with my career. I probably should stop and smell the roses and go, wow, you've kind of done some cool stuff, but I think I'm just so focused and passionate about the path I'm
Right.
on that,
Wow.
you know.
Well, I think you're doing incredible things and always very humble when I've been around you. So I would say that you definitely have some influence in her life in that way. And I have to commend you because I feel like some people would, and I don't know if intimidated is the right word, but they're almost like, hey, this is my path, my career. Like, you do this. So the fact that you're open to that and letting her create, I think is pretty amazing.
I think it's cool, you know. I wish nothing but the world for her, you know. It's like she deserves that. You know, me, it's like if I can help out in any way, give some advice or whatever, I do. But other than that, I kind of just let her.
Yeah, but like you said though,
you know?
Ash, but it's like what you just said right there. It's like you can like show her the path, but they eventually have to do it. They're on their own. I mean, there's
Yeah.
nothing, but that's why it's such a good match, though.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like everyone needs a mentor, but it's like that person has to do the work.
Yeah.
You know, you can only do so much, but if they don't do the work, they're not going to be able to do what they're doing. And
Yeah, I
Right.
mean, I have a lot to be thankful for her too, because I mean, there was a time like I met her on tour when I was with Guns N' Roses. I was in Rome and I met her there, and I mean, we were destructive. Like I was on a mission. I'm pretty confident I wouldn't be alive had I not crossed paths at that point in my life with her, because we were drinking from morning till night, like just playing 3.5-hour concerts. I mean, it could have been a good path ahead where and although the drinking and partying really didn't stop, it definitely came, you know, we slowed down a bit.
you're like, there's a dead end coming up
Yeah,
somewhere, and there's a
it's
door
not,
that's
it's
like
not
that's
looking
wall.
good, but
yeah.
she's really kind of helped put me on a much
I
better
mean, I
path.
feel like in this like industry, 8 years, that's pretty fucking amazing.
It's a
Yeah,
lifetime.
agreed.
Yeah. So clearly, you guys are doing something right. So, what would you say the biggest, like, how do you make it work?
I think communication. I think just supporting each other. You know, relationships are hard, no
Yeah,
matter
they
what.
are.
They're really difficult. And I'd be lying if I said it's all been roses. It hasn't. You know, we've had our ups and downs, but somehow I think communication is the biggest thing. Miscommunication has been the worst thing because I don't speak Spanish. She speaks like 4 languages, and I can barely speak English. And so it's pretty bad when your wife's correcting you, like how to spell words in
I was
English.
just,
It's
I was
like,
just about to say, I can see a fight when you guys fight. It's like,
she's like fiery.
I was gonna say she's cussing you and be like, and he's like, I don't know what you're saying to me, but I know you're mad at me. That's all I know.
I would just
Yeah.
look at her and be like, whatever you want. You're
Yeah,
so hot.
Exactly. That's probably what kept us together. Like, I don't even know what she's saying half the
But
time.
you just look at her and you're like,
Yeah.
whatever you
I
want.
just piss
babe.
her off sometimes just because it sounds hot.
Oh my
No,
god,
I'm kidding.
that's great.
No, but it's
I
cool.
love it.
You know, we've had a great run, and you never know how long the run will last, and you never know where this world's gonna lead you. But you just gotta enjoy every day.
That's great.
You know.
Yeah.
So.
I love that.
So I'm going to spin this now. Everything we just talked about, guys, is exactly what we're going to be discussing on this episode. And it's basically about being your authentic self. So the topic today, Ashba, it's called Seal of Approval. Okay. That's the name of this topic. And so it's like, we all have those moments of trying to fit in. You know, and everything you just said right now, it's like, and sometimes pretending to be someone that you're not, just to be a part of the group or the gang, isn't who you really are. Whether you're doing it as a teen, you know, learning to find your way in high school or whatever, you know, it's because it's very awkward stage for them, or just moving to a new town and trying to find a new social group.
Right.
So we all just like are trying to fit into, find some place to belong. So this whole episode, now that we've discussed a little bit of your background, as a kid, we're gonna go down memory lane with you right now, okay?
Let's do it.
So as
I'm
a
down.
kid now, were you a conformist, or were you just like, you know, or were you a kid that beat your own drum?
I've always beat my own drum,
Okay.
but you know, I think in the very beginning, really young kid, when you're going to school, you're absolutely trying to fit in. But I learned fairly early on that I just was different than everybody else.
Okay.
And I just, no matter how hard I tried, I just didn't fit in. And I always felt that. I remember being in tears, screaming at my mom going, I don't fit in here. I don't belong here. I don't know where I belong, but I'm not like these other kids. I'm different than them. And I always knew I was different. And I thought it was a bad thing until you get older and you realize it's actually a great thing to be a little different than, you know, be yourself because everybody else is taken. You know, don't try to follow a path that's already been laid out in front of you. I've always tried to carve my own path, and I found by taking chances, that's where all of my successes come from.
That's great.
It's just having the balls to fucking go down a path that everybody else is kind of taking the safe road, you know. And
so when you were, you talked about your mom, for instance, right? Do you feel like she was a catalyst in helping you, direct you, you know, like those moments, you know, I mean, you know that we all have those.
Unfortunately not. So I grew up in a very religious family, and I grew up without a TV. Not that we couldn't afford it, it's just against the religion. So it's called Apostolic Christian. It's basically Amish with electricity.
I'm sorry, did you say Amish?
Electricity,
really?
basically, is what it was.
Yeah.
So, you know, I didn't get to grow up like the other kids, you know, and I grew up without a father. And so all I really had living in basically the country was a piano. So I was up on a piano when I was 3 years old. And I was playing my first recital at 5 years old in front of a church audience, playing Ode to Joy or whatever. And then I was detasseling corn for a whole summer to buy my first guitar out of a Sears catalog.
Okay.
And that's kind of how it started. So, you know, I had to figure out ways how to stay creative in my own head.
So when did you find your niche though? You know, like, so I guess what I'm asking, like, for instance, I'll give you a story. So for me, you know, we were the Huxtables growing up. You know, my dad's a doctor, my mom's a psychiatrist. My mom's sorry. My mom's a, you know, I'm off balance. So psychiatrist and like doctor, right? So me and my sister is the only black kids in this whole white area. And so it's the thing where it's like, not trying to fit in because I felt like, well, what's the point? So when someone goes, you know, hey, you know, you don't act black. So for me at a young age, it's like, I learned how to go, well, what does that mean? You know, what's acting black? And so finally became a thing of saying that I guess I'm just who I am.
Yeah.
So it helped me to push me to who I am today of just being my authentic self. Whereas yourself, like, when did you find your, you know, everybody finds that strive, like, you know what, I'm just who I am. I'm going to do what I want to do.
How old were you when?
I was probably pretty young on, but that's why I asked about your family, because my mom was very supportive of me going, look, she goes, I know that you seem like you're different, but you're not. Yeah. It's just that you just have to just be who you are.
Right.
And so she mentored, always pushed that in me, saying that you can be whoever you want to be, just be your true self.
Right.
And so when people meet me, like even talking on the phone, and what you said about you earlier, which I have to say, which is very true, talking on the phone yesterday for like 5 minutes, I hung up and I told my girlfriend, I go, holy shit, that guy's fucking awesome. I go, that's gonna be my friend. Like that, because you're so easygoing and you have a very likable characteristic. It's rare when you meet someone like that right off the bat to sit there and go, holy shit, you know, so that's praise to you.
I feel like the look is intimidating, but once you sit down and talk to you, you're like, wow, this guy has so many layers and he's so fucking incredible.
I have a big heart.
I felt that like from the moment that I met you. Like even though it was like I don't know if you remember, but it was at your store. You have a store.
Yeah.
And I had two with me. I won't say who they were, but like I knew from the moment I met him, like I kind of picked up on his energy, and I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah,
he's
you have a really good
keeper.
energy. Yep.
He's a fucking keeper.
Yeah.
So I even told Natty, I was like, wow. Yeah. So
See,
that
that's
was really
easy for
cool.
you. So finding who you are, it shouldn't have been that hard.
The one thing that I still have the same friends from high school.
Okay.
I mean, my best friend is a FedEx driver. You know, it's like, you know,
I love that.
A lot of
That's
my,
great.
a lot of,
That's so
a
awesome.
lot of my industry friends. It's all about, you know, I got to be seen with the right people and this and that. And to me, I don't care about somebody's outer shell. I care about what's inside. Like I really, truly care if somebody has a good heart, good intentions, and that's who I want to hang out with. It's not, oh, they have tons of money and they're famous.
Right.
I could give two shits
But
about
at the
that.
beginning, though, so let's backtrack.
Yeah.
So I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm the same way. Like whoever I meet, I'm like, I don't care if you got $1 billion or $1. Like I don't ask, I don't care. I just like you for you.
Right.
How did you like? You know, we all get caught up in a scene. Like laughing about the drinking thing. We all get caught up, Ashba.
Yeah.
Jamie can laugh right now too, because I don't care what you've done in your past. We've all gotten caught up. So. How do you finally go, you know what, I am who I am? Like, you know, because we all get starry-eyed.
Yeah.
You know, so how did you come back down to earth and realize that point, you know what, it's like, I'm just who I am. I don't need to like schmooze in front of this and that. Even though, yes, it's gonna benefit your career here and there. So how do you find that balance?
I think it was when I moved out when I was 16 years old. And I was the one kid in the family that never called home for a dime, but I moved to LA when I was 20.
Okay.
And I moved by myself.
And from where? From where?
From a little town called Fairbury, Illinois.
Wow.
So it was a town of 1,500 people. Yeah. And I remember getting in my little purple minivan, and I dated the same chick all the way through junior high, from 6th grade till I graduated.
Okay.
You know, I have the tendency of always staying in things way too long. But, you know, I told her, I just knew. I go, one day I'm going to move to LA and become a rock star.
That's great.
I didn't realize how hard that road was going to be, but I just knew. It's kind of weird to me when people are 30, 40, and they're like, I don't know what I want to be. I have always known.
Okay.
From a very early age. When I picked up my guitar when I was 9, I was like, this is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
This is what I'm going to do. I didn't know to what capacity.
Yeah.
Like, I had no idea I was going to play in one of the biggest bands in the world.
Yeah,
I had
that's
no
amazing.
idea. And that wasn't even in my sight, but I knew this is where my heart's at. The music is where
So
it's
talk
at.
about that. You moving here at a young age and 20, getting in your car. That's what we were saying. Like, you know, you're going to a new city. Were you by yourself or was your girlfriend with you? I'm sorry, I didn't get that.
No, I left her in the driveway
Okay,
crying.
Oh my gosh.
So now that you
But
left
I-
bad
Left her in the
blood
dust.
behind you and you're moving.
like, peace
But it
out,
wasn't a
babe.
mean thing. It was I don't know.
It was time to go.
Yeah, I was just
Yeah.
like I had told her ever since like 7th, 8th grade. When I graduate, graduating was important to me for whatever reason, but I wanted to move. I knew
So
I
give
was
us a snippet of that moment of you coming to LA, like, and you just not knowing anyone, or did you know some people?
I knew one guy. His
Okay.
name, God, what was his name? Shit. This is
Oh.
so bad because I do know him and he's a good friend of mine. But my
It's gonna
brain.
come to you.
We'll call him
Yeah,
LA.
it'll come
Hi,
to me.
LA.
God. Well, Bob Moulton back home was, he actually was going to move. He was the big kind of hometown guitar player, and I looked up to him. I was like, God, I wish I could play like this guy. And he goes, hey, man, I'm going to move to LA. And I was like, man, and I was younger. I was like, can I go with you? Because he was just going to go out to see what it was like.
Right.
He goes, yeah, fucking come along. So it was the first time I ever left Fairbury, Illinois. I got in a plane. I remember flying over LA going, it just never ended. And I remember thinking, how the fuck am I going to get everybody down there to know my name one day? Like,
That's awesome.
and that's just LA. That's
Right.
not the world. So
Right.
yeah. And then I ended up moving out. I fell in love with LA. I ended up moving out, and I remember calling Bob going, I'm ready, let's go. I got my minivan, I got the U-Haul, let's go. He goes, I'm not going. I was
Oh.
like, what are you talking about? You gotta go, dude. And to this day, He's back home, still kicking ass on the guitar, but I'm really happy that I took that.
The leap of faith. I mean, but he
know?
inspired you to do that, and it's funny that a lot of people don't do that, which is that's an amazing story. I mean, I love the fact that, but once again, you knew at a young age that that's what you wanted to do.
Yeah.
I think it's incredible that you knew and you've literally stuck to it.
Wait, Vince. That was his name.
I knew.
Sorry, Vince. I'm so sorry. Disclaimer, I'm hungover today, so my brain ain't working. No, Vince Aqua. Okay, so he was in a band called Barracuda, and they were from Chicago, and so they lived in LA. They had a band house in Van Nuys. And Vince, when I went out to visit, I met Vince, and Vince was great. Killer drummer. And I remember calling him going, I'm coming out. So I flew Vince one way, and he helped me drive out.
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
And it was hard.
So did you crash at his place and all that stuff as well, or what?
Yeah, so I moved in, and I joined his band, and we did cover songs, and went up the West Coast, and I played every shitty bar you can imagine. But I remember I got down the street almost to Chicago to pick him up, and I pulled the van over, and I was in tears. Like I shouldn't admit this because whatever.
Right.
But I was literally, it was the hardest thing ever to do, is leave everybody I've ever known, leave my family, my friends, my girlfriend, for this thing inside of me.
And you have no idea what lies ahead.
Yeah, and I actually turned the van around, and I go, I can't do this. This is too hard. And I drove about 3 miles, and I stopped. And I was like, if I don't do this, I'm never going to be able to live with myself. Like, what if I would have went?
Right.
I can always come back. You know what I mean? But this is my one chance. If I turn around now, I'm going to end up working the grocery store till I'm 50.
You know what?
And I turned around.
You guys have
Yeah, I know, that's amazing. So this is actually really good. I'm gonna give you 5 points on what you just said. That's it's unbelievable. So there's this thing that there's 5 things that you need to apply to yourself in life. And if this is like knowing your authentic self. It's know who you are. So it's like knowing there's 5 things you need to apply to yourself in life. And what you just said is you did all of them, really. It's like, know who I am. I take good care of myself. I own my gifts, which is, your presence of music and stuff. I live in my values, and I love myself completely. And for you to stop and not turn around, that's the belief that you have in your authentic self of saying, fuck, I got this. I don't know where it's leading to, like you with Molly, with me, what I do. We all have something that has brought us to a certain point in our life. And a lot of people, quite frankly, like you're the guy who stayed back. What's his name? Bobby. Bobby, he crumbled. He had a hiccup.
He probably didn't have that fire. Maybe he wanted it, but it's always the people that want it more.
Of course.
I think he had the fire. I'm telling you, it was the hardest thing I ever had to do. I can't even explain. For 2 days, 4 days, however long it took us to get there, I was like second guessing myself the whole way, and I don't know.
So when did you feel like for yourself, and Jamie, this is a question for you too in your modeling career.
I keep like wiggling, you guys, because my top just busted again.
This is new for Ashba, by the way. So we're shooting our second episode at the Elia Beach Club in Virgin Hotel. Thanks guys so much. So Ashba, earlier in our first episode, she was already busted out before the episode started.
So
she's holding up her boob the whole time. That's why I told you, have your hands ready. Sorry, Natalie. He's gonna have his hands ready to take care of it if it happened. Yeah. So I guess what I want to say is...
Don't worry, Natty. I won't let him touch my boobs.
I'm not looking.
My hair is
When did you realize, even like at your young start that, I'm in it now, this is it, I got this. Like, because everybody has to pay their dues. Like even with Molly, we all second guess ourselves like, am I going to continue down this path? Is this what I really want to do? We second guess ourselves. So when did you realize, this is it?
I think he said like from the moment, like he knew he wanted it.
Of course.
And then you had that little split, like I'm going to go back. And then there had to be other times throughout your journey where you're like...
Oh, there's countless times. Where, to this day, I second guess certain things, like creating a new sound that I'm doing. It was a 4-year process.
Okay.
And the whole way through, I'm like, I'm just following my heart, but there's nobody out there that was doing it the way I was hearing it in my head, so I didn't have anybody to follow. There's no roadmap, And, along the way, I was second guessing, get frustrated going, nobody's ever going to understand this new sound, where rock and roll and EDM collide.
Yeah.
And,
who's your sounding board, by the way?
What's that?
Who's your sounding board at this moment when you said, no one's doing this and you feel like, am I doing the right thing? Who do you go to say, hey, what do you think?
Oh God, it's one of those things where deep inside
Yeah.
I've had a lot of experience out there. I know what gets crowds up off the ground. I mean, I've played stadiums for the last 10 years, arenas and stadiums for the last 15 years. So I was always that guy that I would watch the crowd. Even when I wasn't on stage, I'd go out to the soundboard and I would watch. And I would see what is the band doing that gets the crowd reaction. Is it the BPM? Is it the beat? And I would just study it as a producer, and it's no different than, I've had the opportunity to write and produce, co-produce, like from Motley Crue to Neil Diamond's, all the different genres.
Right.
And it's no different. I could go really deep down that rabbit hole, but when you're writing for somebody, you got to study their what makes Motley Crue sound like Motley Crue.
Okay.
It's 4 ingredients in a stew. It's the way Tommy plays. It's the way Mick plays the guitar. It's the keys that they write in that makes Vince's voice sound.
And you have to be always aware of that.
And you got to learn and study all that to be able to turn around and co-write with that band to make it sound like them. So it's no different than from writing a song, studying that, than crossing genres. You got to study that genre.
Yes, right. And going off the note with the EDM stuff and the GDM for you now, it's knowing what is your beats per minute then? What did you find? Because we're going deep here. What's the beats per minute that you like for your new stuff?
The new stuff, the new stuff, dance in general. I'm around 128, 130
I was gonna say,
that's the sweet spot for what I'm doing. Dubstep's 150.
Okay,
but I have some stuff.
And I have no idea what they're talking about.
I knew Jamie was gonna be like,
beats per minute.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
because I knew the 128, 130.
That's what you're hearing out here is right in the 128.
Okay. But that's something you have to study and learn and know exactly what's going to get the crowd the most of the time.
Yeah.
You can do like the high, like you said, beat like the dubstep, which is a little bit higher, but that's not going to create the same crowd as this does.
Yeah.
Agreed?
Agreed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jamie.
It's okay. I feel like I need to go to EDC.
We geeked out for a minute there. Sorry.
So he also mentioned something that I thought was a little interesting, that he knew pretty early on, like where he wanted to be. And I'm probably like the opposite of you, to where like there's no limits for me, so I don't know. I'm constantly like exploring like different avenues, like something like shooting, for example. I could have never envisioned myself being a sponsored shooter, but the opportunity came, and I pretty much ditched everything else and went like full throttle into shooting.
Yeah, right.
To where, and I always say, because people don't know what they want to do or what they want to be, and I think for me it's always changing.
Yes.
But I think that it's freaking incredible that you knew from early on, and you've literally...
And you stuck to your guns, that's,
But even though the music, you gotta change with the time, so it's constantly changing and evolving too, so it's very similar.
But it's not so much that it's gonna be out of your comfort
it's in
depth.
my blood.
But you know what I mean though? You're not gonna change who you are just to conform per se, right?
No, not at all.
Yeah. I mean, I'm like I'm modeling, and then I'm like shooting firearms, and then I'm a mom, and then I was like, oh, I want to be a teacher. I went and got my degree, and I'm like, I'm going to be a teacher. I did that for a little bit, and I'm like, I don't like this. I'm going to do this. So I feel like for me, my path has constantly been transitioning, and that's kind of what works for me.
Right.
Like you've always kind of stuck to tennis.
But the creative side of me, I've done I've done, the jack of all trades, and everything that I've touched and have done, I've been really good at. Like I've written screenplays. I've done I've jumped on stage with a band once. I've done I'm doing this right now. I play tennis. I got a scholarship for football in college. I got 3 scholarships as a matter of fact. But I've done it all. But it's that thing where sometimes it just gets a little. You got to pick something. thing and stay down one path. But at the same time, I take everything that I've done and put it into, like, even this right now, it's given me that discipline to do this well.
Right,
you know, and so whatever I do, like you said, I know, like even right now, like, you know, you sitting here, it's like, we shoot probably now once a month, we do a bunch of episodes together, where sometimes I go, God, I haven't done an episode in like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
But I go, you know, I got this down now, because it's the practice that we put in, and then the skill and the confidence, and it's no different, I'm sure, when you taking a chance to make new music.
Yeah.
So I feel like,
I have a question for you, because I have a very hard time. I struggle with my relationship and work. How do you balance the two? So I feel like either I'm crushing it in my relationship and then my business suffers, or I'm blowing up business-wise and then my relationship is like in the dumps. So for me, it's difficult to find that balance.
Yeah.
Any tricks for me?
Oh God, that's the toughest thing is juggling both, really. But again, it comes down to the communication in the relationship.
Yeah.
And you know, you just definitely got to carve out time for it, you know. And any career takes, as everybody knows, most of your time.
yes,
So
it does.
I would say quality time. You know, you might not get to spend as much time with the person that you love, because we all got to make a living. But when you are together, make it count. Like,
Right.
Oh, I love that.
I do too.
So have you read the 5 love languages?
No.
Oh my gosh, I feel like he might be like quality time.
I think so. No.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
there's 5 love languages in a relationship. It's words of affirmation, physical touch,
Nice.
quality time, gifts, and what's the 5th?
Choking.
Acts of service, you say that?
Acts of service,
Acts of service,
not
yeah.
choking.
Oh, sorry.
Jesus.
That always fires up a relationship.
Right.
Little spice in it.
Right. So out of the 5, where do you think you would fit in?
That's a good
Oh,
question.
God. Jesus.
I'm staring at
What-
him,
what
and we're
were they
putting the
again?
heat on. It's gifts. Words.
Probably gifts.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, gift is the way to a girl's heart.
Okay.
I'm
Wait,
learning.
what about your heart? Do you want gifts
to
from
mine?
Maddie?
No.
Yeah.
I
So
was
are you
talking, yeah.
gifts,
Oh,
physical
me.
touch, words of affirmation, quality time, or
Acts of service.
acts
yeah.
of service?
Like, do you need someone building you up time with affirmation? You like someone
no,
doing
no.
something for you?
I would say, you know, I'm more of that. I don't care about the touchy. I think actions speak louder than
So
words.
acts of service
so
then,
you're
you know what I
acts of
mean?
service.
Yeah.
It's like somebody can say it all day long, love you, but it's
Right.
do you feel that? You
Well,
know?
especially when you're both busy, you and your
Yeah.
wife. It's like,
And touching
I'm sure you
isn't so bad
appreciate
either.
that. Yeah.
So I'm definitely.
Which one is yours again?
I'm physical touch.
Mine's touch
like
as well.
I want
But we're
Yeah.
Leos
my
though,
man
honey.
to
I think
That's
we're
like,
all
yeah.
physical
me,
touch.
I
Yeah,
want to like be touchy.
My least
and-
one is acts of service. I don't need anyone to do anything for me. Like,
Yeah.
you know, it's like I could do it by myself.
That's me.
Okay,
yeah.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't need gifts. I don't need shit.
Right, gifts.
I
yeah.
just need to know you're on. We're on this thing together, and I'm
yeah,
good.
like
you
a
know?
teammate, like
yeah.
you're ride or die.
That's why they're
Yeah.
good together.
Yeah.
ride or die, for sure. So,
love it.
yeah. All right, Ashba. Well, okay. So, what's going on? So, tell us. Are you going to be hitting the road soon? That's what we want to know. Hitting the
We
road.
are starting to book shows right now.
Okay.
Which is really exciting, but you know, with the COVID thing,
Yeah.
now we're seeing stuff getting canceled. So we're going to start focusing hard on 22
Okay.
and finally pushing GDM out to the world, which I'm super excited
Great.
about.
Can I
Yeah.
ask you, is it you being a musician like that and out there with all these tours and stuff that had to be kind of canceled here and there, disappointing, or do you feel like it gives you more time to work on other things?
No, it's disappointing.
Yeah.
Like I'm dying to get on it.
Okay.
I'm like a fish out of water. Like I said, to this day, I don't fit in to this. Where I do fit in is on a stage entertaining people.
That's
That's
your-
where
yeah,
I
that's
feel
your
at
home,
home. When I'm not, I'm a caged animal. I'm just pacing the house like, get me on a stage because
I visualized Ashba with
what's
a
in my
green
heart.
screen in his house, and he's got like this band playing on. He's just up there just doing this, with a green screen to keep him interested.
I love
You know?
I love to play music. I love
Yeah.
to feel that connection between me and the crowd. There's just nothing like it. It's better than any drug I've ever taken in my life. It's more
That's amazing.
addicting than anything out there. It's cool.
When is your next show?
Believe
Do you
it
have
or
a date?
not, I am playing October 30th at a private party at the Jackson Estate.
Wow.
Yeah, Michael
okay.
Jackson's house in
Oh,
Encino.
wow. Wow.
The Jacksons invited me to perform there. Jackson's and Maloof's. They're throwing a big Halloween thing, and it's a
That's
big
awesome.
private invite only.
Wow,
and
that's great.
So it's going to be my first official.
You doing your own stuff or just a collaboration of different things?
No, the Ashba stuff. Yeah,
Oh, that's great.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
that's awesome.
Gavin and George are amazing.
Yes. Gavin's one of my close. They're all, but Gavin's one of my closest friends.
Tell him I said
And
hello.
we're neighbors.
Ah, I love that.
cool. Yeah.
Okay, so the private events, does that like light a fire in you? Just
Yeah.
like the bigger ones, like the
it's
more
a-
intimate.
I mean, to me, it's harder to play in front of a room of 10 people than,
Right.
250,000 people.
Right,
But
right.
I look forward to it. I don't get stage fright, so I'm excited to just get out and see how people are going to react to this new sound. It's
Yeah.
exciting for me.
When you are on stage, do you ever, like right before you go on, do you get nervous? Or are you excited?
I get pumped.
Okay.
It's like I said, the best way I can describe it, like with 6 a.m., we're back there, like just open the door.
Okay.
We're ready, So it's more of a caged animal feeling, like.
Do you have a ritual
like, let me
beforehand?
out there.
Yeah, it's like 4 shots of Jaeger.
That's great.
That's my ritual.
See, Travis, he drinks before he works. See, Travis
Oh,
goes.
yeah.
He goes, Chris, if I had a drink right now, he goes, the show would not be produced very well. So,
Guns N' Roses was so bad that I would do 4 shots of Jaeger, and then I started the show, so they'd take me on. I called it the Hellevator, like my own lift, and it would take me up like 30 feet in the air, and I would be like in the middle of the LED screen. They would turn it red, so you just see my silhouette, and I'd start. And I'm up there on a 4x4 foot platform, and I
no.
refuse to be strapped in because I'm like,
Oh my God.
But I'm up there, and it's wobbly, and it's like never fell once, thank God. But
Oh, thank God, yeah. Oh.
Just I live for it.
Well, this has been amazing. Do you have anything else from today?
I mean, I have a lot of questions.
Yeah.
I could keep you here all day, but
Yeah,
should I?
you
He's like,
go ahead.
Jamie,
Whatever
cut
you
it
have.
off.
No,
I feel like we have
got
to have you
time.
like in studio.
Yeah.
And I would love to have you with Natty too, if you would be open to that.
Definitely.
Yeah, we might have to go a little more in depth about the communication stuff.
No, I mean, honestly, like, it's very rare that you meet people in this industry,
Yeah.
in the entertainment industry, that are married and keep it together.
It's the right formula.
It's been
You guys
8
got it.
freaking years. So
right.
I commend you for that, and you guys are obviously doing something right. I think it's inspiring, and we can definitely learn
It's a
from
lot
that.
of miscommunication. She's
Well-
like, that thing. Blah, da, 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 da. I'm like, and she's like, I'm like, helicopter? She's like, yes. I'm like, oh, fuck. It's a lot of charades.
Yeah.
So it keeps it
The
fun.
funny thing is, you get it though. That's the crazy part
When you
about
first
it, though.
met her, did she speak English, or was it very little?
Very little.
Oh.
Very little. For the first 2 years that I knew her, we weren't dating at that, but we stayed
Yeah.
really good friends. But it was a lot of pointing and, that.
Got it.
Ah.
Yeah. Right.
It was a lot of that.
I'm ready to
yeah,
go.
I'm ready to go. but man, what's crazy is she speaks fluent, like insane. She's one of the smartest people I've ever met.
Yeah,
like,
I can't wait
super
to meet her.
intelligent. So
Yeah, I can't wait to have her on for sure. So,
Exciting.
right. Well, we are gonna let you go, but before we
All
let
right.
you go, we're gonna ask you one of like a serious dating question now. So we're like, that whole authentic self now. You got to put in the work now. So we do a question at the end of every show that you're gonna have to answer now.
Got
So
it.
this is a good one. So. Hi, Dating Intelligence. I love you guys and look forward to the podcast every week. Dating apps, the quandary, quantity or quality? Should I be blowing through a zillion dates to find a match, or give my full attention to one match at a time? Is it a numbers game, or does the connection develop with care and time? Any advice? Appreciated. So what do you think about this? Should she
I'm
just
g-
like blow and just like, the numbers game of dating, or?
blow and go? Is that what?
Blow
no.
and go.
No,
there
here's
can be a lot of.
Yeah, like little, like hidden little.
No, here's the thing with that. I asked my mom when I was like 16 years old, I go, there's so many people in the world. I go, how do you know? How do you know when it's that one? And I'll never forget it. She looked at me and she goes, you'll just know.
Yeah.
You'll feel it. And I thought I felt it many times before, but I the night I saw Natty at that
Right.
club, you just knew. It was like
Right.
fucking.
So I
It
read a
was
bio
different.
on you when I did my homework on you. You guys got married. You asked her to marry you after how long, by the way?
Well, we had known each other for years.
Okay.
But we helped kind of each other through different relationships. She was in a I was in one. ended, and I was like, hey, you want to come to Vegas? And she did, and she never went home.
That's great. But that plays into this. So virtue is what I'm asking you, because like you just said, you just know when you know. And so I feel like a lot of people play the numbers game. I don't think that it's a bad thing, but I guess you do need to be aware. You know, like you just can't just be throwing yourself out there with no rhyme or reason. You have to be aware, right?
I hope to God I never become single again, because I look at it now with the internet and shit, and the only with you know, everything out there, the OnlyFans, the internet, all this stuff, which it's all good, but it's like, fuck the distraction. You know what I mean? It's like, how do you meet somebody and really connect deeply with them when everybody's sitting on their phone right in front of you? It's nobody does this anymore.
Right.
You know, very little.
But that's the sad part.
That's scary.
Yeah, it's sad because I feel like what you did with your wife, that's everyday life.
Yeah.
And that's what people are missing out on.
It's like people fall in love, or they think they do, off of Instagram photos now. It's not like where you see somebody across a club and you
have an energy exchange, and you're
well,
like,
we do this thing.
whoa.
Am I going to go up to her?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So it's like they're home playing video games and shit, and they meet a real girl, and they're like, they don't even know how to conduct a conversation. So it's, I don't know. It has to be tough nowadays.
Yeah, dating, the whole dating thing scares me.
All right, what is your take on it, though? What do you think? Quantity over quality?
I think I've never done the dating apps. I don't see myself ever going down that road. So for me, it has to be energy based. Like I meet someone and I feel like a connection. And then I think you always hear people say, oh, she friend zoned me. I'm like, you guys, the friend zone is literally the best place to be, because that's how you get to really, like the walls come down, and that's how you get to learn someone and get to know them versus like jumping right into it. So I always say, like, guys, friend zone, best place to be. And like you said, you guys were friends for 2 years.
We were,
Okay.
So.
And you still don't get to really know somebody until you start living with somebody. And it takes about 8 months before the real them pops out, and then it's like, okay, shit, all right.
Do I really want to do this?
And it, you know, you make it work.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, you've been an amazing guest, and thank you so much for being here, man. Yeah.
And thank you so much for like hanging out with us.
Yeah.
This guy's awesome.
Yeah, I don't think that you guys looking at this guy over here, I don't think you can get any more authentic than this.
I thought he was going to be like, I'm out of here. You guys are great for me.
So Ashba, please, can you plug what's going on? Just give the audience where can they find you on social media and all that stuff?
Yeah. I'm at Ashba on Instagram, Ashba on Spotify, Apple Music, all the streaming platforms. YouTube.com/Ashba official on YouTube. And 6 a.m.
Give a plug of your, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but give a plug of your single, by the way, your best one.
Yeah, my next single coming out is a remake, and it's a festival banger. It's awesome. Actually, I haven't even told anybody the name of it yet, but it's phenomenal. But we're also releasing a greatest hits album next month, 22nd of actually October, this month. I don't even know what day it is. Are we in September or October?
We are in, I'm the same way. I never know what day or what month we're in. We're in September, and I want to guess it's about the 19th.
You're on.
That sounds good to me. So October 22nd, 6 a.m., we're dropping a greatest hits album.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And I'm dropping my next single, GDM single, the 29th. So.
Ooh, I can't wait to check it out.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. Jamie, anything you want to plug before we go?
I mean, just check me out on Instagram, Jamie_Billimore. And then, of course, Innocent Armor, one of my favorite brands. Check them out. Fashionable clothing, and it's actually bullet resistant.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Right. All right, guys, and you can find me on Dating Intelligence Podcast on all social media platforms. And if you need to reach me, please keep sending out your questions for Jamie and I, those dating questions. And did a great job at answering that one, by the way.
Thank you so much.
I'm going to Nobu. Are they open yet?
They are open, yes.
Hell yeah.
All right, guys, that's our show for today. Ashba, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Peace out, guys.